It's a real pleasure, Zoltan of Finger Death Punch, to have you here. Thank you so much.
How are you guys?
I'm fine. How are you?
Very good, very good.
How's your day going?
Got a beautiful microphone. Outside there's a tornado. Hey, can't complain. And we have a sold-out arena show, so I think I'm good.
Yeah, I couldn't get any better. Yeah. Well, today is actually your last gig in Germany from your European run. How is it going so far?
Well, every show so far was sold out. You guys seem to like Finger Death Punch. Thank you, Germany.
Nice. Well, yeah, and obviously, I mean, the moshpits and everything, you know, going crazy. So I can't wait for tonight to get into that moshpit as well.
Yeah, well, our moshpits are legendary, actually. It kind of calmed down. You know, there was a time, literally, you know, how we get the kids out of the way? Yeah. That's how it started. Our moshpits were so brutal that we were like, okay, women and children, please exit the, you know, the mosh pit area. That's how we used to get them on stage because we wanted them out of harm's way. That's how the whole thing started.
Yeah, I see. Well, you've been on tour for a while now. Mm-hmm. What's been the craziest experience so far, or the funniest experience on that tour?
Well, just the fact actually that, you know, we started in the Ukraine, you know, and I think the first time we played there, I'm almost vaguely remembering that there was maybe a couple of hundred people, and if a chicken ran across the stage or some crazy stuff. We were in some suburb clubs, and, you know, we went back there, and it was a sold-out arena. Same thing in Moscow. And we just kept going, and the arenas were getting bigger and bigger. I think Finland was just out of control. And just the fact that, you know, that looking at this whole tour, you know, that Europe is hard in a way that the European fans are sort of discriminating, you know. It's less, you know, less about the fashion, what's out in the world, more about they want to know a band, they want to really experience it before they say, okay, I'm done with this band, but then they come forever.
And then they stick
forever. Yeah, that's what I mean. So it's an interesting thing. And so it was, you know, it took us a little, you know, a moment. And the most amazing thing really that every arena was just sold out, and just the crowds were like, you know, we've seen some crowds, but, you know, like this tour is probably the most energetic in some way, you know. Like everybody is singing all the lyrics, and it's just, yeah, it's amazing.
Sounds amazing. Yeah, great. Well, as you said, you know, you're a band for quite a while now. You've released so many really good records. You know, there's no day where I don't listen to The Decade of Destruction, for instance, or like Got Your Six or anything. Is there do you feel like a pressure or anything of when you're making a new album, a new record?
Well, the pressure is sort of self-inflicted, if anything, because, you know, obviously you want to progress, you want to put out a better record than the previous one. So there is somewhat of a, I wouldn't even say pressure, I would say it's a challenge. It's a challenge to come up with something that still sounds like you. So it's still the core sound of Finger Death Punch in this case, right? And but in the same time, you have to progress. You have to come up with something new, and it can't be forced or artificial. You know, let's say take AC/DC or Iron Maiden, they will sound like AC/DC or Iron Maiden forever, right? And, you know, there's a progression, but, you know, but they have a sound. So Finger Death Punch have a sound. You know, we are rarely, if ever, compared to some other band, you know. So we somehow we carved out a sound that is ours, and we don't, you know, we can't really leave that behind because we are who we are, you know, but in the same time, yeah, right? But in the same time, you know, you have to always bring something new, and, you know, after 7-8 records, it's getting to be challenging, you know. And in our case, this new record actually, it just happened organically. Because, you know, everybody kind of calmed down, everybody's sobered up, everybody's that sober, so that changed who they are as people. So all of a sudden you had a band going to the studio who was really focused, you know, full of energy, ready to go, and so you can feel that on the music. So all of a sudden it sounds like Finger Death Punch, but something is different. And that makes this record, I think, a milestone in some way. I think this is going to be one of the most important records in our careers, because it is that evolution that we kind of wanted, but it happened organically, and that's just the best way it could have happened.
Oh, sounds really great. Well, the new record, it's called Fate. It comes out by the end of February, 28th of February, actually. And what I was wondering, you know, you called it like F and an 8. Why the number? Is there what's the meaning behind that?
So originally it was because it was the 8th record.
All right.
So basically, originally we gonna just call it number 8, but that was just maybe too simple. And so we figured, okay, Finger Death Punch 8 record. We were playing around with the possible titles, and so if you phonetically pronounce F8 is fate or fate, which is two words that are fairly close to each other, but vastly different meanings. And then there you can now you can sort of think about the possibilities. Which one is it? Was it fate? Was it fate? What does this mean, right? As in fate, is it a predetermined, it's a predetermined path that we end up here where we are today? Or was it fate, as in you believe that you can get here, you believe in yourself and you work hard and you get here, right? Which one is it, right? And it's the 8th record. So we figured there is something there, there's something that everybody can interpret in the way they want to. We'll kind of like to do that. If you define something, this is a yellow box, then it's a yellow box. That's all there is to it, So we like that when both visually, the record covers, or lyrically the songs can mean a lot of different things. Depends on the on the perspective of the person who's experiencing it.
Which one would you choose?
I think it's in between,
Okay.
And it's between because there's a weird thing happens in life. I'm pretty sure it happened to you that there are coincidences in your life that just weird stuff happens when you're like, there's just too many little coincidences to this to happen. It would take too much, coincidental thing to this happen. So it's almost a miracle, right? Everybody has that experience that something happens to them and they're like, wow, that is strange, right? But in the same time, I think those things happen to you when you are, when you believe in yourself, you believe in whatever you do, and you work hard. So that's it's a combination of the two. My personal belief is that you create your future in some way. You have a free will. You believe that you can do certain things, but then some other stuff. There is more to us than just our physical reality. There are other stuff sort of aligns on a level that we may not understand on a spiritual
really
level. But it's somewhere in between, in my opinion.
Yeah, sounds really good. Open for interpretation, I think it's really good. What's your favorite song on the new record then, on Fate?
Oh, trick question, huh? So, well, this record is very diverse. There are a couple of, really heavy songs. This Is War is one of my favorites. It's, it's one of the heaviest Finger Death Punch songs probably that we did. There are songs like Darkness Settles, which was another song when Ivan just phoned it in. Like, hey, I just have this idea, and he sung on Jason's answering machine, and Jason grabbed the track and wrote a song around it. The vocals that Ivan left on the answering machine. And then there is a song called Little Bit Off, which is almost like an acoustic guitarish kind of a laid-back sort of tune. Very unusual from us, but it just works. It's just something that as I said, the record is diverse. It's very, very different songs, but somehow they come together and make sense. You don't feel like, oh, this sticks out, And I think that's why we are really proud of it, because we managed to sort of open this aperture to pretty wide, and it still works.
I can't wait to hear it.
Oh, you didn't hear it yet? Oh, yes. Okay.
Well, it only comes out,
Well, Full Circle is out already. That's Full Circle and Inside Out.
We hear, yeah.
So if people who heard Inside Out and Full Circle, we kind of put out those two tracks because it kind of tells the story what's about to come.
And also Living the Dream.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Living the Dream just came out yesterday.
Yes.
Okay. So there you go. So you have 3.
Yeah, that's true. But it's not everything now. And not everything yet. So really excited for that. So you're on tour right now with great bands. You got Megadeth, you got Bad Wolves. What are any other artists that you would love to go on tour with? Who's still on your list? Or your favorite artist? Yeah,
I mean, I always wanted to tour with The Prodigy. Unfortunately, that's not gonna happen now. There are bands that that are. We take out this band called Fire from the Gods. It's a new band, kind of new. It's an amazing band. We're touring with them in the U.S. We wanted to bring them to this, to this tour, but we couldn't fit 4 bands on the bill. But look at this current tour. Bad Wolves. This is one of the breakout bands of the last 2 years. They're just blowing up huge. Megadeth is one of my favorites. I grew up on Megadeth. So it's pretty amazing that I'm in catering and or walking around in the arena, and then there's Dave Mustaine and all these guys. I have posters on the wall. When I was a kid, I'm like, Dave, what's happening, man? And it's like he's a friend and a peer now.
Yeah.
The guy that I used to have the posters on the wall.
Zoltan, thank you so much for taking time. It was a real pleasure. Thank you so much for tuning in. See you on stage.
Sounds good.
Thank you.